Good morning, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, a happy medium. And first of all, can I welcome everybody who's been watching the channel over the last few days, and also for all the new subscribers who have joined us. And hopefully you'll enjoy the channel as much as everybody else does. So it's just a big thank you from me in the spirit world. But in today's video, up for discussion today, we want to look at animals and how important animals are in evidence when we're given communications from the spirit world. Can animals actually be brought through on communications, and how important these really are for me personally and for the people in the congregation or for your sitter when you're doing demonstrations of mediumship. Animals are a very, very important thing to the humans here to the earth, and some people value animals more than humans. Why? Because animals become part of a family, they become part of us, and they become part of our way of life. And we love them just as much as we love the humans here, as well as we do our children. So animals are a real big, important thing when we're doing communications. Some people, unfortunately, bless their little hearts, are unable to have family. So instead they give all their love to animals. Some people have lots of children as well, and also have loads of animals because they genuinely want to help or genuinely just want to shed as much love as possible. So when we're doing communications, animals are a really important part of our communications to the spirit world. And I've actually done a full reading just on somebody who wanted to know about a particular pet in the spirit world. It was a dog, in fact, but they loved this dog that much. The dog had, gone all over with them on holidays. They had bought the dog all sorts of, knickknacks, and the pet industry is worth millions. So we, as humans, value our pets, dogs, animals, cats, horses, whatever it may be, very, very much. And I know from doing rostrum work, horses, cows, goats, everything and anything I've had through spiders, lizards, because everybody has different preferences. I've found that we bring a lot of different animals through because that's what the people had when they were here to the earth. The biggest question of all is can you communicate with an animal? And what tends to happen is us humans, we like to label stuff, right? And if it's not labeled, we tend to think that it's not possible to communicate. Now, what we have to understand is everything's energy, and everything has the ability to have communication. And what we have to understand is that we can communicate with these animals. Now, people's probably going to look at me a bit weird and wonderful and go, well, how is that even possible, Dan? How can you do that? Well, what you have to understand is all you're doing is adapting it from words, which, because us humans, we speak a lot. So we communicate an awful lot through words. And not so much is done through feelings or through just getting to know that person on a more energy vibration. I tend to think if we read energy a lot more and said less in words, things would be a lot better in the world. But unfortunately, words and communication will always overtake a particular feeling or an energy reading other than, the word communication. But what we have to understand is that animals are still energy. Everything has an auric field. Everything can be read in some capacity. And animals are no different. So when we're doing communications, these animals can be used, these animals can be read, and these animals, we can communicate. Now, we may need to use another loved one in the spirit world. So say, for example, we brought your dog through and the dog was with granddad in the spirit world, or that's my dog, by the way, there. My drawings are very artistic, I have to say. I'm very impressed with them. Anyway, so say, for example, the dog was in the spirit world with granddad. We could actually use granddad as well. But we could also actually link into the energy of the dog as well. And the dog, for all the dog can't speak, the dog still holds memories because the energy has memories, which we then use in order to give communication. So can we actually communicate with animals? Yes, in short is to the answer. Yes, we can use these on communications. Are they a valid piece of evidence? Of course they are, especially if you're getting the breed, if you're getting how old that dog was when it died, what kind of sex the dog was. It's relevant and very good evidence if you do it in the correct way. And not a lot of people will do dogs or cats or whatever it may be, because they've got the thought-based matter of, well, it doesn't speak, it doesn't actually give words, therefore there's no way it can be read. Actually, that's not actually true. You can actually read that energy of the animal. We could use the human in the spirit world, or the spirit and spirit world, so grandfather, father, mother, you know, whatever it may be. But we can actually link in here. And also what some people do, and I know from my own personal experience, we had a dog for many years, a boxer called Ginger. And that boxer's collar is still here to the earth plane. So I know that for us as a family, we have kept them vital bits of memorabilia towards the dog. And I know for if I was to do that, I'm sure that there's lots of other individuals out there in the industry or within the walking world who will also do these things. So we can actually do a communication based round an animal. So getting the dog's name or the cat's name, you know, is vitally important when we're doing communications. We've got to make sure we're not just sticking here. We've got to be broad spectrum, bigger picture, making sure we're looking for everything and anything that would tie into the sitter when the sitter's coming for a reading, because it's vitally important. I made this mistake many years ago when I first started private sitting. A woman booked a sitting with me, and I thought she was looking for people, because I was under the impression that, you know, you've got to work with people because people's the only thing that communicate, the words, speak. And actually, when it all come to, she'd booked a full sitting with me just for a dog. And I ended up doing a full sitting just on a dog. And that was a good half-hour sitting. So I have to make people very aware that these things are important to people, and we should never ever rule them out on communications, because it could be the very thing that the person who's sitting in front of you or within the congregation is looking for. Some people will probably say that it's not relevant to mediumship. I tend to think it's everything and anything's relevant in mediumship, and anything that proves survival is relevant. And we mustn't get too caught up in the box standard of evidence or what we class as evidence, because what we class as evidence isn't actually the evidence that our sitter's looking for or what the spirit world wants to talk about. And these can be proven through names, how they passed, you know, memorabilia, so objects that are still here. You know, here are three main pieces of evidence. You know, an age. Again, we use these three, name, passing, and age, very much on human communications. So if we can get these with an animal, then they're just as valid there. So what I would like to see is a little more animals being given off of rostrums, you know, dogs, cats, these types of things, especially if you can get the breed of the particular dog as well. Again, so you're building quite a big bracket here of evidence for a particular animal in the spirit world. And it's, I said this in the last video about the same loved ones, and it's this sort of filters down again in animals. We have to get away from what we think is important. We have to get away from what we as mediums think is vitally important to bring through the communication, because what we think is totally different. And again, by not trying to deliver animals or trying not to do these kind of communications, you are restricting your mediumship. You're also restricting the communication of the particular sitter who's sitting in front of you, who values this pet above anything else. And they could have been looking for that communication for a long, long time, and nobody's tried for it. And it's not right nor fair of us as mediums to dictate what we think we should be bringing through what kind of evidence we think we should be bringing through, all because we want to be the razzler dazzler. That's not what mediumship's about. What mediumship's about is making sure that we're doing the very best for our sitter, and what is important for the sitter and what is important for the communicator in the spirit world. We need to get out the way. We have to make sure that we're just observing. We're not actually getting involved. And what happens is there's a lot of people will not go near animals, or will not try for that bigger link, or won't try for that different communicator for fear of either being ridiculed or being snarled at, or will not try because they're frightened that they're going to get it wrong. If you're not getting things wrong in your mediumship, you are not learning. If you're not getting them no's, you're not learning. You have to understand that when you get no's, or you don't, if you don't try for something, then you're going to miss out on the opportunity to learn and put the knowledge into your mind. But in essence, to the video we talk about here, animals, try it, get into the habit of bringing these animals through. They're just as important as the humans that reside within the spirit world or the loved ones that reside within the spirit world. It is vitally important that we make sure we as mediums are trying for everything and anything, and as long as there's evidence in order to back that communication, then it is vitally important that we at least give it a go. So I have been Danielle, better known as Danielle, Happy Medium, and hopefully you'll have enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a likes up, please do share with your friends, and hopefully subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. And I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye for now.